Much up to the family, much up to the tribe. Welcome and welcome back. I hope everyone out there is doing well. I hope everyone out there is blessed. Today I wanted to continue on the wave that we were on, and today I want to speak about integrity. And I want you to take a second and think, what does integrity mean? And more importantly, how do you use this word integrity? You know, we know integrity, when it's missing or lacking, right? And we like it when we see it. We also associate with it when we need it. And we weaponize it when it's convenient. I want you to take a moment and step back and think about that for a second. Because the word association with integrity often comes up as, honesty and trust and courage and responsibility and respect and fairness. But did you know that it has probably a closer relationship to numbers? I'm pretty sure you're probably wondering how are numbers connected, to this word. But at the end of the day, integrity, it doesn't mean what we think it means, or we know what it means and are using it incorrectly, or we kind of force it to mean what we relate it to, if that makes sense. So, what is integrity? Well, when it comes down to integrity, integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is watching, according to C.S. Lewis. And there's a lot of memes, motivational speakings. But after researching and looking around, this seems to be a very, probably about as close as one can get to keep it, as far as keeping it simple. And excuse me. And if you notice at the bottom there, I put in a Bible verse quote from Proverbs 11, verse 3. The integrity of the upright shall guide them, but perverseness of transgressors shall destroy them. Now, initially when I had read that, I didn't read it correctly. And hopefully I'll be able to explain that as we move along and go along here. But the integrity of the upright shall guide them. So, I'm really big on object and subject. So here the subject is the integrity, right? But the object is the upright. Why is that important? Because, usually when there's a but, that means everything before it, kind of thrown away. However, here, the difference being that there's a colon after them, meaning it's elaborating. And then as I looked back, stepped back, and read it again, I realized that it's not that the perverseness of transgressors is a different group of people or a different group altogether from the integrity of the upright. I realized that the perverseness of transgressors is actually, more importantly, speaking of the transgressors, is speaking of those that are upright who lack or lost their integrity. And it's that lack or loss that creates the perverseness that gets them destroyed. So let's take a look at integrity, because there are certain things that are going to kind of stick out to you, that should jump out to you, and why you should take a step back and really think about what this word is and what it means. Now, as you can read on your screen here, and for those that are listening, I'll read it as well. But another use of the term integrity appears in Michael Jensen and Werner Erhardt's paper, Integrity, a positive model that incorporates the normative phenomena of morality, ethics, and legality. The authors model integrity as the state of being whole and complete, unbroken, unimpaired, sound, and in perfect condition. They posit a model of integrity that provides access to increased performance for individuals, groups, organizations, and societies. Their model, quote unquote, reveals the causal link between integrity and increased performance, quality of life, and value creation for all entities, and provides access to that causal link. According to Mule Capteen, integrity is not a one-dimensional concept. In his book, he presents a multifaceted perspective of integrity. Integrity relates, for example, to compliance to the rules, as well as to social expectations, to morality, as well as to ethics, and to actions, as well as to attitude. Now, I know that's a bit wordy, but certain terms should really stick out to you. And they said, like they mentioned that it's the causal links to increased performance, right? To quality of life, to value creation for all entities, and provide access that and provides access to that causal links, right? Very interesting, wording, to be sure, and it probably should make you feel slightly uncomfortable, because it shows that it's not, quote unquote one-dimensional concept, right? And it highlights the compliance to the rules, social expectations, morality and ethics, action and attitude. Again, compliance to the rules, social expectations, morality and ethics, and actions and attitude. Now, I'm pretty sure you can either look at your own example in life or you can look at others and apply that. And as I stated earlier, either we really don't know what integrity means, or we know what it means and are using it incorrectly, or we force it to mean what we relate it to. Now, as we continue, disciplines and fields with an interest in integrity include, now pay attention to this, it includes philosophy of action, philosophy of medicine, mathematics, the mind, cognition, consciousness, material science, structural engineering, and politics. Popular psychology identifies personal integrity, professional integrity, artistic integrity, and intellectual integrity. For example, to behave with scientific integrity, a scientific investigation shouldn't determine the outcome in advance of the actual result. How often have we argued that in this space, in this wave, where, how we say, the math ain't mathin'. As an example of a breach of this principle, Public Health England, a UK government agency, stated that they upheld a line of government policy in advance of the outcome of a study that they had commissioned. Are we following so far? Now check this out. The concept of integrity may also feature in business contexts that go beyond the issues of employer-employee honesty and ethical behavior, notably in marketing and branding contexts. Brand integrity gives a company's brand a consistent, unambiguous position in the mind of their audience. This is established, for example, via consistent messaging and a set of graphics standard to maintain visual integrity in marketing communication. Capteen and Wimpy develop a theory of corporate integrity that includes criteria for businesses dealing with moral dilemmas. I think one of the quickest things when it comes to branding, I think we might want to, probably comes to mind, especially if you're over a certain age, is like the old Coke and the new Coke when it came out with the new Coke formula, right? Or in our modern parlance, this is not my Star Wars. My Star Wars, ended a while ago, and things of that nature. But I want you to pay attention to who cares about integrity, because it's of extreme importance. Those that care about integrity are the philosophers of action, the philosophy of medicine, mathematics, the mind, cognition, consciousness, material science, structural engineering, and politics. Let that last one bake your noodle. So we're talking about integrity. Integrity. Honesty, courage, trust, responsibility, respect, and fairness. What does integrity mean to you, and how do you apply it? Something to think about, something to meditate on. I hope your integrity is worth it. Because at the end of the day, it's how you're measured. I hope that makes sense. Much hop to the family. Much hop to the tribe. I love you. Peace.